Hi, I'm Bob Hogan.
And I'm Rich Hogan, and we're your McDonald's owner-operators. Well, I consider McDonald's America's best first job, and quite frankly, no matter where you may be in your career, this can be a great place for you. You're going to learn skills at McDonald's and with Hogan Company that you'll be able to carry with you for the rest of your life, whether it's interpersonal relations, staying calm and poised under pressure, or just showing up to work with a smile on your face when maybe you're not having a great day. These are important skills that you're going to learn with us, and you're going to carry them with you for the rest of your life, wherever you may be going.
There's a lot of opportunity to grow with McDonald's. You can start as a crew member and move up as far as you'd like. When you start from the bottom, you get to know a lot more about the business and then get to grow into different positions that work for you.
You could go into training, you could go into a supervisor role, you could go into marketing. There's so many different places to go.
For me, at first I was kind of overwhelmed, but when you're just starting, it's important to remember that your team and your managers are going to give you all the skills and resources you need to be successful, but it's okay to ask for help. And whether it's the person next to you or your manager, it's always okay to ask questions.
Being the face of McDonald's is definitely a big standard to have. As soon as people walk in, they get to see you, and their whole experience is based off of what you give them as soon as you walk in the door. So when you have that smile on your face, likelihood is that it'll reciprocate on the customer's face, and they'll have a good time too while they're there.
So work-life balance here, I think, is something that we try to really push and develop in our employees. We have employees that are in high school. We have individuals that have families at home. And we have others that actually have McDonald's as a second job. So what we try to do is give them those work-life balance skills, really try to cross-train them so that way they're more productive here, but also allow them to take those tasks and responsibilities that they learn here and apply them at home.
McDonald's gives us a lot of opportunity with their Archways to Opportunity, so that way it's easier on me that I can work while I'm at school and I can get paid not only for my job but also get awesome opportunity to have scholarships from the business I'm working for.
When you join our team, we will make sure to find a place for you in the restaurant where you will succeed. The sky's going to be the limit, and we're going to have your back.
Remember, this is a family business. We call ourselves the Mick family. In my company, the Hogan Company, you become an extension of my personal family. So just remember that. We care about you. We want you to care about us, and we want all of us to work on behalf of the brand for our great customers. Welcome to McDonald's Hogan Company.
We're excited to have you on board.
We're going to get started. Our next speaker is someone I wanted to introduce. She is a lady who has, for many of you that know her, she is she's somebody that is always there. Every meeting, no matter where I go, and I remember being when we did a marketing launch and we were in a theater in Atlanta, and I just so happened I had to be in Atlanta. I was there and had no business being at the Atlanta co-op meeting in this theater, but immediately saw Vicki, and as soon as I did, I knew I was okay, right? Like I'm kind of like walking in, stumbling, I'm like, and Vicki immediately looks at me and she just, grabs me, hugs me, and says, we got a seat for you right here. And that is the way Vicki Chancellor, operates, and she's always in the mix. She's always doing whatever she can do to further our brand. And none of us are experts. None of us, that's really not our job as the owners of McDonald's. We're doing all this work as second jobs. And we can get very good at that, and I think we can lead in a very strong way. But we're not the professionals, and we're not the experts. But what we are the heart and soul of this brand, and Vicki represents the heart and soul of this brand like no other owner-operator. And and we're going to have our differences. It's a big family. We're going to sometimes step on each other's toes. But I have no doubt that, folks like Vicki, as long as we have folks like Vicki Chancellor working on our behalf, we're going to get to a very good place. That I can promise you. So thank you, Vicki, for being here. Thank you for leading a very large organization, arguably the biggest and most important function of our operator body, the $700 million or whatever it is, $1 billion budget that we have in OPNAD. It's an incredibly important position, and we are blessed to have you leading us. So Vicki Chancellor, everybody.
Vicki Chancellor, OPNAD Chair.
So first of all, thank you, Blake. We communicate a lot, and he knows that I love him. And what I like about Blake, I never have to think about what he's thinking. And I think for us as operators, that's all we can ever ask of each other, is that we are honest with each other, that we tell each other how we feel. We're not going to always agree on every decision and every opinion, but the way I like to operate is that once the vote is taken, once the operators have spoken, then it's my job to carry out that and to execute it to the best of our ability. So, put these on. So I'm going to say good morning, and I want to thank NOAA for inviting me to be here. I also want to thank my husband. He's my friend. He's a supporter. He's there at 1 a.m. when those planes get in after being in corporate to pick me up. So thank you, and I love you. Okay. I also want to appreciate the opportunity to represent OPNAD. It's the greatest marketing body in the industry, and the role that marketing plays in driving growth for the best franchise owners in the industry. My number one job is to protect the Golden Arches by driving demand for great food and beverages, and that's going to include chicken this year, and that ultimately we are responsible for investing the owner-operators' marketing dollars, because we know incredible marketing gives us swagger. It has been the secret sauce that has turned our business around in tough times and allows us to soar to become the greatest QSR ever. And that's what I think about every day, that it doesn't matter what the naysayers say, we know that we are the greatest QSR in this industry. So this time is no different. I am committed to taking our marketing to the next level, and I look forward to seeing that come to life over the next year. I have to remind everybody that I am chair-elect, that Travis Harriet is still the chair of this great organization. So as I prepare to lead OPNAD into 2020, I'd like to share my priorities that I believe are needed to drive marketing success. Okay. The marketing world has drastically evolved, and we need to think differently, especially as it relates to digital. I don't just mean digital as GMA, but how we engage with the consumer digitally across all marketing channels. We've developed a 3-year digital ambition with the support from the consumer-facing digital team. And this is a team that we created in June because we, as an organization, we realize that we need to be better with digital as we fight the competition. The team is exclusive of members from the Digital Task Force and the Restaurant Tech Board and will help us achieve 10X thinking. And when the young millennials come up here, they'll talk to you about the 10X thinking, okay? Second, marketing economics is our budget. We put together a marketing economics group. We brought it back, and it's being headed by Benny Scott. And they're going to focus on validating economics based on our level of financial risk. Both programs forecast and post-analysis. One of the things that I do want to ask you as a group of operators, I need your help. I firmly believe, along with the rest of our OpNet reps, that we need our own individual insights person or organization to make sure that the information that we're getting about promotions and everything is correct. We had our first meeting as a team. McDonald's brought in several companies. It was not a good meeting. The companies that came in did not understand what we do. So I need all of you to press us to make sure that we as OpNet could get our own insights. We have a media and budget team that's led by Chris Mann and continues to prioritize how much we spend on each program. And Blake was right when he said the OpNet budget is $765 million. So there's a lot of money there that you send there, and I want to make sure that we're spending it right. Okay. So my commitment is to ensure that we are disciplined, that we stay disciplined with the dollars that we're spending. And I'll tell you what's going to change in 2020. This year, all of you know that we're up 5% in sales, which is actually an all-time high in the past 15 years. The OpNet budget used to be that we budgeted at zero base budgeting, and we would send, so if we were up 5%, we would send that extra 5% that we have made back to the operators. This year, because of BV 2020, Chris K happened to negotiate that he wanted an extra 2%. So of that 5%, 2% will be spent on different marketing programs. The other 3% will be sent back to you. In 2020, if we're up 1%, it comes back to you. If we're up 5%, it comes back to you. Third, communication. The more informed all of us are, the easier it will be for you and your local co-ops to plan. We've made a lot of progress with Karen Traw leading communications, and we've been trying to send out information. I know that a sore spot is that it only goes on Diligent. I am working to see what we could start to send on email so that you as co-op presidents, you as NFLA reps can communicate with your co-ops about what's going on. My last point that I want to make, and it's very important to me, is that I believe that every operator's voice should be heard. I will focus on taking the politics out of OpNet to ensure that we are maximizing our potential. It is a priority for me to create an environment where every OpNet represents feels free to vote the concerns of all of you. When this happens, we will make terrific decisions and together create outstanding marketing plans. It takes all of us to make it work. Balancing your feedback with the consumer's feedback is our recipe for success. So a lot of times when I'm alone, I start to think about how Ray Kroc built this brand and what it means to all of us. And I know that the operators are my boss, but the consumers are my North Star. Because at the end of the day, every operator in here, you can't buy enough in your restaurant to make it profitable. And I tell the people at corporate, at MHQ, we don't have any cash registers there, so they need to be focused on the consumer. But Ray said it best, and I believe so strongly in this. If you love what you're doing and you always put the customer first, success will be yours. I can't think of anything better than that quote to describe the role of OpNad. So, marketing's role. Our job is to drive demand. You've seen some of the signals. We're making big changes. Marco Fair, Santiago Negro, Willie Cho, Estefano Watt, and Benny Scott, and I went to visit our new agency, Wyden and Kennedy, and they're based in New York. And I have to tell you, I couldn't be more excited for the great work we will accomplish together. And please ask any of those operators that went there how their opinions changed. When we got there, we were very skeptical. When we left, we said, if we can keep McDonald's corporate away from the agency, they will do great work. So, it is clear that they truly understand the heart and soul of our brand. They ask the right questions. They are immersing themselves into our brands. They actually wanted to talk to operators. They wanted to know what we needed. They wanted to know how we felt. They wanted to know about our consumers. They've already started on some of the 2020 work, so stay tuned for great things that you will hear. 2019 success. And I think one of the reasons that we are successful in 2019, and I think Emery hit on this, when he talked about fries and drinks, they're iconic to McDonald's. If you notice on the 2019 calendar, we truly concentrated on our core products, Big Macs, QPCs, things that our consumers love. We also introduced donut sticks, and I mentioned them only, even though they were a small part of our business, I mentioned them because it said something extremely important. We've been asking McDonald's to partner with us for a long time, is that there are consumers that want something sweet. Now, if you live in the South, like some of us, fried and sweet, we love it, okay? So donut sticks was a big hit. One of the things that has changed our business around, and these are our future consumers, is Happy Meal. We are back partnering with Disney's. The Avengers, for the first time in 10 years, Happy Meals showed an increase in sales, and we believe it's because of our partnership with Disney and great products. I won't belabor the point on Uber Eats and delivery. I know that those of us, there's 75% of the system that have the opportunity to participate in delivery. By the end of this year, it will be 82%. I do realize that there are some operators that have not been able to enjoy the benefits of delivery. And we hear you. Hopefully, we can continue to get to the point where we're at 100% for that. So, last slide, setting us up for success in 2020. We have a lot to be proud of in 2019. We should be proud of NOA. I said that in my speech when I was running for election, and I said it in front of the corporation because I think it's important. And the way I said it is that you may not agree with everything that NOA does. You may not agree with everything OpNet or the NFLA does, but there's one thing about NOA. When NOA came into existence, I can honestly and personally say that as operators, we got up off our knees. We said to the corporation, we are part of this brand and we're going to make decisions. And I think NOA allowed us to do that. I am proud to work very closely with Mark Celebra and the NFLA to understand the system's priorities, welcoming their observations and making decisions best for the system. We are focused on the consumer occasions where we have the right to win in holding on to the areas where we are already winning. We will continue to keep the system updated as finalized plans to continue driving demand for our food. Once again, I want to thank all of you for allowing me to represent you. In my heart, I cannot think of any other group of people that I would rather be associated with.
So many people have been asking about the Forever Ray books, and so our next speaker is the gentleman, he and Joan, that wrote that book. It's signed by Fred, and it's a special story, and I don't know if Larry's going to be talking about it today, but he shared it with me, and he talked about what that meant to both Jim Cantalupo and to Fred Turner when he did. And it's really an honor that we have you, Larry, here today with us, and we're all very excited to hear from you. I give you Larry Light.
Larry Light, CEO, Architecture LLC, and former Chief Marketing Officer of McDonald's.
Thank you, Blake. Thank you for inviting me to participate in this meeting. This is such an inspiring experience. I didn't know what to expect at the National Owners Association, but this is an amazing event, amazing milestone event. Some of you may recall that in September of 2002, I joined McDonald's as Global Chief Marketing Officer to work with Jim Cantalupo and Charlie Bell and help develop and implement the 3-year turnaround plan that we called the Plan to Win. At that time, McDonald's was struggling. Sales were in a slump. Share price was in decline. Morale was low. McDonald's declared its first ever loss as a public company. My first decision was stay the hell out of headquarters. I spent every day in the restaurants because at McDonald's, there's no cash flow that starts in headquarters. Nothing happens until it happens in the restaurants. All cash flow begins with a customer exchanging money for our offer. I met with customers, crew members, owner-operators, and after 3 months of being in the field, I started to put my thoughts together. And before I presented those thoughts to anybody at headquarters, I wanted to meet with owner-operators. Reggie Webb invited me to address an NLC meeting in January 2003. That was my first opportunity to express my initial views about the brand. And I was moved. Here was all this negative news about McDonald's. Front cover of Fortune magazine, the Golden Arches is dead. And yet, the owner-operator conviction was amazing. Why? Because of the pride, the passion for the brand. Owner-operators are the brand managers for McDonald's. You manage the brand one customer at a time in every store, every day. Nothing happens till it happens in the restaurants. Even though McDonald's was in trouble, no one was negative. Everyone was hopeful. The positive energy was exhilarating, and it reflected exactly what Ray Kroc said. There is no future in pessimism. And I feel that same optimism in the room today and yesterday. This is an amazing opportunity. After the 3-year turnaround was successfully completed, I announced that I would leave in January 2006, and Reggie called again. Here's what he said. We invited you to the NLC for your first presentation. We would like to invite you again to give your final presentation to the NLC. And I agreed. I'm no longer an employee of McDonald's. I left McDonald's, but the spirit of McFamily never left me. The lasting lesson from my time at McDonald's is that the owner-operator community has an undying dedication to defy any difficulties, to defeat any daily distresses, to deal with the damages of distrust, to not just accept the future, but to create the future, to create a future of enduring, profitable growth. However, I fear, I'm concerned, I am worried that the McDonald's road to the future has some serious potholes. Potholes that need your immediate attention. So here are my concerns. First, I'm concerned that the corporation does not love the McDonald's customer. Instead, McDonald's loves the customers they do not have, a more modern, progressive, techno-hip customer with a fatter wallet who prefers to not interact with people. McDonald's hopes to attract these customers by being cool, by providing a cool, cutting-edge, progressive, state-of-the-art, high-tech experience in place of the warm, friendly, affordable, mainstream, mass-market McDonald's happy experience that appeals to the whole family. Here are some marketing facts. Facts. Well-researched facts. It costs 4 to 6 times as much to attract a new customer as it does to keep a customer loyal. Fact. Core customers are 8 times as valuable as those who just consider eating occasionally at McDonald's. Fact. Research shows that reducing customer defections by just 5% could increase profits by nearly 25%. So, losing just a small percentage of McDonald's core customers will account for a disproportionate amount of lost income for the brand. Replacing regular customers with those who visit only occasionally is a formula for failure. Spending resources to attract customers you don't have and who don't currently like you, while at the same time losing customers you do have and who currently love you, is bad business strategy. Now, I know a brand always needs new customers, every day. But a singular focus on new customers at the expense of losing your current customers is death wish marketing. Core customers already know what they love about McDonald's. Restore and reinforce that love. Identify like-minded other customers and attract them to McDonald's. The lesson is clear. Love the customers you have and love what they love about you. Adore your core customers. Adore your core. Second, I'm concerned. We talk about technology a lot in business, in every industry. And technology is great, but technology is an enabler. It is not a happy experience. I'm concerned that there's somehow a belief that technology is the solution for all ills. Technology makes things easier, that's true, makes things faster, more convenient, but it worries me that investing hundreds of millions of dollars to develop new technology, to buy technology companies, is not a substitute for investing in the best-in-class food and beverages. I read recently an article in a professional journal by researchers at MIT. They were studying customer experience design. And they pointed out to create really memorable, effective experiences requires what they call emotional magic. Emotional magic. They defined emotional magic as showing empathy, really caring, kindness, trust. Artificial intelligence can never deliver emotional magic. People deliver emotional magic. Personalization is important and technology is a great enabler. But never forget, the word person is at the beginning of the word personalization. People deliver emotional magic. Ray Kroc said, McDonald's magic is that it is a happy place. Where's the happiness in conversing with an artificially intelligent robot at a drive-thru? Where's the happiness in push-button personalization? People don't come to McDonald's to play a video game at an ordering kiosk. They come to McDonald's to eat, to drink, and to be in a happy place. Without a focus on food, without a focus on beverages, customers will find competitive food and beverages at other restaurants that they prefer. And if a customer prefers the food and the beverages from your competitors, then technology is irrelevant. You can have a cool app, and people will not care. Apps are desirable, but they're not delicious. You can't eat your mobile phone. If you want customers to favor your brand, you must provide delicious food and delicious beverages your customers favor. That's why the mission statement of the Plan to Win was, and I quote, to be our customers' favorite place and way to eat and drink. Your own experience shows that the fresh meat quarter pounder was a great example of how to improve quality of food as a winning strategy. And your competitors show the same thing. The craze around Popeye's new chicken sandwich is another terrific example. And you can't ignore the success of Chick-fil-A. So promising and delivering a superior tasty chicken sandwich must be a very high priority. Yet, the corporation identifies these three what they call accelerators to drive growth: digital, delivery, experience of the future. And we've heard about this, and we've heard discussion about it this morning. And I quote from the McDonald's website. These are the corporation's words: to elevate the customer experience in the restaurants through technology. I have an idea This is revolutionary. How about to elevate the customer experience through best-in-class food and beverages? The recent Business Week cover story on McDonald's focused on data collection, artificial intelligence, algorithms, and coding as the cure-all for McDonald's. This article never mentioned a single word about food and beverages. You cannot code your way into gaining and maintaining customers. You cannot code your way into superior quality food and beverages. For a restaurant that serves things people eat and drink, you cannot code your way out of trouble. Third, I'm concerned. I'm concerned that McDonald's is being standardized and homogenized. I said earlier that nothing happens until it happens in the restaurants. The front line is where the brand lives or dies. Your brand livelihood begins at your storefront, so you must not be afraid to stand at the brand forefront. You are the brand managers, not in headquarters. Fight for the fact that every sale is a local sale. There is no global McDonald's customer. There is no national McDonald's customer. There are only local customers. Customers in London, England, and London, Ontario are not the same as customers in London, Ohio, or London, Arkansas. Customers in New York City are not the same as customers in Kansas City or Carson City. McDonald's is a local neighborhood restaurant. Local store marketing, you remember that? I have a fond memory of the initials LSM. It was once a marketing basic at McDonald's. One size fits all, fits everyone just a little and no one very well. It is mistaken, misguided, mismarketing. Fourth, I'm concerned that McDonald's overarching corporate strategy is shareholder value over customer value. McDonald's has increased shareholder value through financial engineering. They borrow money to pay dividends to shareholders, but they do nothing with the borrowed money to increase customer value. Not a single customer today will go to a McDonald's and say, "I'd like to buy shares." They go to eat and drink. Just last month, a financial analyst pointed out these financial shenanigans will soon come back to haunt McDonald's. Earlier this year, Harvard Business Review ran an article about McDonald's online. This online article, the headline read, McDonald's has to do more than just manipulate its stock price. Here's a quote from the article, not my words. McDonald's leaders have been more concerned about increasing its stock price than creating competitive products. Shareholders have a short-term interest. They'll buy the stock today and sell it tomorrow. As owner-operators, you have a long-term interest, a long-term concern with the health of your business because it is your business. It is your bottom line. One serious long-term McDonald's about brand health is this. You know, there's been a long-term trend over the last 5 or 6 years, declining customer transactions. This trend is troubling. You cannot build a healthy business on a shrinking customer base. The implementation of Experience of the Future so far has not solved the challenge of declining transactions. When a brand is losing transactions, the first priority is to immediately focus on customer retention. As you've heard several times, as Ray would say, put the customer first. I'd like you to just think for a moment. Can you imagine, in the farthest reaches of your imagination, whether Ray or Fred would ever thought to say, put the shareholder first? Investors and analysts, they're now becoming worried. Another financial analyst published an article highlighting what he said were McDonald's two key problems: continuing decline in guest counts and sustainability of the increased check strategy. The analyst commented that increased check is not a sustainable strategy. Worried analysts know that relying on increasing average check with a declining customer base is dangerous. It masks the fact that customers are leaving McDonald's. In fact, they say increased average check may actually be contributing to decline in transactions as customers perceive that the brand is becoming a little less affordable. Increasing check size with a shrinking customer base has a limit. Continue on this path, and at some point in the future, a small number of customers are going to have to run up a check of an average of $100 a visit just to maintain sales. This is not the way to build an enduring, profitable, growing business. But just imagine another possible approach, another possible strategy. Consider this scenario. I'm told that the current estimated average check is $6.50. I'm also told that the average customer frequency is around 3 times per month. Now imagine if over the past few years, instead of increasing average check to cover for declining customer visits, what would have happened if instead McDonald's committed to holding the average check at, well, let's take the current price, $6.50, and then persuaded the average customer to visit McDonald's just one more time every 4 months. One more time every 4 months. What would be the result? An 8% increase in store sales. By loving your customer, by doing the things that you heard yesterday from Mike that can be done this year to the existing customer to get them to be even more loyal, to visit one more time every 4 months. Things you could do now. Love the customer you have and encourage them to come one more time every 4 months. This is not long-range planning. This is just common sense. Common sense doesn't seem to be common. Focus on increasing customer loyalty. A loyal customer is your most valuable asset. A small increase in customer loyalty can make a huge difference to brand health. Fifth, I'm concerned that there does not appear to be any overarching, consistent, relevant McDonald's brand strategy, tying everything together into a coherent whole. This is a really risky approach, leading to isolated, inconsistent messaging and tactical promotions. It doesn't persuade customers, it confuses customers. Let me ask you, what is currently the McDonald's relevant, differentiating brand strategy? What does McDonald's stand for today? Well, the most common phrase I hear is modern and progressive. That's what we want to stand for. What in the world does that mean? I mean, nobody says, no, I don't want to be modern and progressive. I want to be old-fashioned and out of date. It's easy to say, well, the solution is we need more memorable ads. Let's be memorable. But memorable without a message is a waste of money. It's more difficult to define and communicate a coherent, consistent marketing campaign built around a consistent, coherent, relevant, differentiating brand message. It's challenging to create a brand proposition that communicates across all devices, all media, all customer touch points. McDonald's has a new agency. I know this agency. They're an excellent agency. They're a disciplined agency. They're a creative agency. Let them do what they do. Don't overmanage the agency, or you won't get your value for money. They are superb at creating attention-getting, award-winning ads. But when you see the advertising, don't say, I love the ad. Say, I love the ad message you're communicating. Without a cohesive, compelling, focused brand message, having a new ad or having a new agency will not fix things. New memorable advertising will help, but only when you insist and persist that advertising is underpinned by a relevant, differentiated, trustworthy brand message. Kantar, a market research powerhouse, just released data benchmarked against a database of 200,000 ads. They pointed out that only 25% of this year's Cannes Lion award-winning ads actually had positive impact on sales. The main reason for declining sales and declining advertising effectiveness was not the memorability of the ads. There was no underlying consistent brand message. Of course, everybody wants memorable advertising. We don't want our advertising to be ignored. We want people to pay attention to it and remember what we said. But positive brand impact on sales is key. The ultimate award is not a trophy, it's increased comp sales. The ultimate reward is the giant impact that effective advertising and marketing communication can have on sales. Sixth, I'm concerned that the relationship between the corporation and owner-operators has deteriorated. It's sad to learn from the owner-operator survey that you feel you are being treated as employees rather than as entrepreneurs. Positive feelings in a McFamily are the cornerstone of the McDonald's organization. Positive feelings of family are not achieved by binding contracts. Positive feelings of family rest on a foundation of respect, integrity, mutuality, and trust. Jim and Charlie reminded me regularly, the three-legged stool is the basis for McDonald's success. The respect, the partnership, the integrity, the mutuality, and above all, the trust that underpins the three-legged stool seems to now have been replaced by an employer-employee mentality, accompanied by binding contracts, constraints, and threats. This is wrong. In a recorded interview at a McDonald's restaurant on what would have been Ray's 100th birthday, Fred Turner was asked, if Ray Kroc were alive, what might Ray say to the system? Fred answered in his unique, distinctive way. Ray's message would have simply been this: keep the three-legged stool alive. Seventh, it all comes down to this. This is the biggest concern I have, my biggest concern of all. I'm concerned. There seems to be a significant dissolution of the unique, distinctive McDonald's culture. McDonald's has an exceptional, one-of-the-kind business culture. As a consultant, I worked with a lot of businesses around the world, but there was nothing like the McDonald's culture. This is your biggest responsibility. To me, it is the number one responsibility of the NOA. Keep the unique McDonald's culture alive. You, the owners, the operators, the people that own the McDonald's brand and make it happen every day in the restaurants, one customer at a time. You, the NOA, are the cultural conscience of McDonald's. The NOA is the cultural conscience of McDonald's. Anyone can make a hamburger. Anyone can serve a soft drink. But no one has the competitive advantage of the distinctive, powerful, amazing McDonald's culture. Pains me. Maybe you read this in Restaurant News. I read that in Restaurant News that the newly designed cup for McCafe is gold because the coffee is gold roast. Who in the world cares? Wouldn't it be great if someone told me from corporate that they designed the cup to be gold because it reflects and represents the spirit of the Golden Arches? Some believe that trying to save and defend the McDonald's culture is a backward-looking activity, anchoring McDonald's in a world that no longer exists. I hear that some people in the corporation believe owner-operators use the McDonald's culture and Ray and Fred as excuses to stop initiatives. They believe that quoting Ray and quoting Fred is designed to create a shield of protection from a modern, progressive future. They believe that to be modern and progressive, you must abandon the past. This is wrong, and you know it's wrong. The power of McDonald's culture doesn't come from preserving the past. Your power comes from preserving the best of the past in order to make the best future. Build on the past. Don't abandon the past. McDonald's cultural heritage provides guidance and guardrails for a successful future. So please, please, do not let the distinctive McDonald's culture disappear. Otherwise, here's what I fear the future may hold. I know you're all aware there's a test of a new takeaway-only store in the UK. It's called McDonald's To Go. There are no seats. You interact with touchscreen kiosks. There's a digital order board informing you to where your order is in the queue and when it'll be ready. You stand around waiting and staring at the digital order board, and the predominant color is gray. A reporter commented that the experience feels like standing in a train station, staring at an overhead monitor, waiting to learn the track and time of your commuter train. This is not a happy place. Store design must be in sync with the brand's character. The McDonald's experience is not a gray, culture-free zone. McDonald's To Go is devoid of what makes McDonald's McDonald's. Have you visited the McDonald's flagship store in Chicago? It's a glimpse of McDonald's of the future. It's cool, it's modern, it's Apple, not McDonald's. It's emotionless, and it's gray. Observers have actually compared the design of the flagship store to an Apple store. McDonald's is not an Apple store. I wish one day, instead of trying to be Apple, we tried to be McDonald's. The future of McDonald's is being created right before your eyes. The Chicago flagship is meant to be the ultimate expression of the corporation's stated mission, and I quote, to change public impressions of McDonald's, to transform McDonald's to a different kind of burger place. But here's an insight. The flagship store's architect was interviewed. The architect was briefed by McDonald's corporate on what the store should communicate. The architect said, I was told that we're not focusing on speedy service anymore. McDonald's is now interested in giving customers, get this, the flexibility to lounge with a laptop and a latte using our free internet. Is this McDonald's, or is this Starbucks? Or is this the American Airlines Admirals Club? The architect goes on, customers will have the option to order through their mobile app. And using the customer's phone, the GPS crew members will know when the customer's near the store, and they will prep the meal for pickup. Here's what I found remarkable. In the whole story, nothing about the food. I'm asking you, is the brand vision to transform McDonald's to a gray, impersonal, hipster brand that is without warmth and humanity? Is this McDonald's? Is this a happy place? Is gray the future of McDonald's? Is McDonald's future going to be gray or great? Managers change. Organizational structures change. Systems change. Agencies change. But here is why you are the cultural conscience of McDonald's. You will outlast them all. You are the consistent guardians of the long-term health of the brand. Now, today, this is your time to step up to your role, your responsibility, to ensure that the flame of the McDonald's culture does not flicker out. Being modern, being progressive, does not mean you must sacrifice enduring essential truths on the altar of coolness. Fundamental truths stand the test of time. The values, behaviors, principles of McDonald's will never become obsolete. McDonald's values are timeless and timely. McDonald's became one of the world's greatest brands by staying true to its basic values. These values are not dated, they are drivers of enduring profitable growth. Ray Kroc's foundational ideas, as Fred Turner wrote, will continue to touch us and encourage us, and these will be relevant forever. I was honored. I was truly honored when Fred asked me to write the booklet, Forever Ray. He was concerned that over time, these principles would disappear. But I don't feel that way. I'm inspired by yesterday and today, how many different speakers quoted Ray, quoted Fred. We played Fred's video. Keep the flame alive. This is why the booklet codifying Ray's principles is called Forever Ray. In the front of the Forever Ray booklet, Jim Cantalupo wrote a message. He wrote, Ray's principles will continue to be our guide to greatness. His thoughts are as relevant today as when Ray said them years ago. Jim went on to say, these are standards for how we will run McDonald's today, tomorrow, and forever. These enduring principles will forever guide us on our way to continued success. The destiny of this great brand is in your hands. But the easy way I know, is to just hang back. See what happens. It's easy to sit back, wait, and watch what others do. Do not be spectators, be participators. Ray always said that no matter how big or how successful, never be complacent. Fight to control what you can control and fight to influence what is not in your control. You've already demonstrated in just 1 year that you can influence corporate decisions. For example, corporate now recognizes the positive contribution of the field as a valuable resource. But recognition is not enough. There's still a lot of work that must be done. With your continued influence, the company is beginning to recognize that their priorities must be aligned with your priorities. One of these priorities must be to keep the flame of the McDonald's culture alive. You are responsible for McDonald's culture. You are what stands between being gray or being great. There's nothing more important than keeping the McDonald's flame alive. Not as a remembrance of the past, but as the influence, inspiration, impetus for McDonald's future. Keeping the McDonald's flame alive is not about commemoration of what was done in the past. It is confirmation of what can be done today and tomorrow. Ray counseled us that none of us are as good as all of us. He said that although you are in business for yourself, you are not by yourself. He said, when you speak as one, you will not falter. I say, when you stand together, you will not fall. When you stand firm, you will not fail. A unified voice is a powerful voice. Look around the people in this room today. This room is filled with passionate, proud people, brimming with purposeful unity. The soul of McDonald's is on the line. Please, do not hesitate, do not pause, do not sit back, do not stay on the sidelines, do not stand in the shadows, do not let the future happen to you. Do not be complacent. Instead, have the commitment to take charge of the future. Have the courage to fight for what is your right. Have the will to do. Have the soul to dare. Now is the time, before it is too late. Take a stand. Stand tall. Stand proud. Stand together. And from where I stand, I see a future where you repave the Brand Road so that it is great, not gray. When I worked at McDonald's, I was often asked, what's it like to work at McDonald's? I would always answer, I have a McJob, and I'm loving it. It's true, I left my McJob, but the experience of my McJob never left me. Please keep the McDonald's flame alive. Thank you.
We form a three-legged stool: operators, suppliers, and company people. Each of us has a stake in the business.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage John Kelly, NSLC Chair.
Hi, everybody. I don't know how you go after Larry Light. Let's give it up for Larry Light. I would like to tell Larry that we are not the Apple store, but we do sell more apples than any other store. How about that? Great video. Thank you to our suppliers for submitting those assets for this commemoration, and thanks to all the suppliers who are in attendance. I'll get onto that in a little bit, but first I want to give you a quick NSLC update. So, in preparing for this meeting, I sent out an email to the entire system asking folks to please attend, to come and recognize our suppliers. The three-legged stool is one of our core values. And I have to say that I got a great response from most people. There was one person that wasn't very happy about that email going out, and that was Marion Gross. And as you all know, Marion is the vice president of supply chain for McDonald's. And Marion called me up that evening about 8 o'clock when she was done with her dinner engagement. And she said, "John, what the are you doing?" And I said, "Marion, I'm the guy that has been tasked with basically endorsing and communicating and working with the three-legged stool, supply chain, our suppliers, our owner-operators. This is what I've been asked to do. If the NOA is having a meeting where they're inviting suppliers, I'm going to be there, and I'm going to lead it. And guess what? I'm going to help encourage other owner-operators who are like-minded to be there as well." And Marion was like, "Yeah, right? This is what we do. We're leading." Well, Marion was a little upset about it, and she basically told me that if I did it again, she'd be asking for my resignation. She couldn't support me anymore. And I said, "Marion, last I knew, you didn't elect me." Anyway, there's a lot of great work being done at the NSLC and supply chain. And we are having a meeting here after this meeting with our suppliers where we're going to talk about some of the values that we're working on that should hopefully improve their lot and make them more comfortable as part of our system. Because what Larry just described that's happening to the owner-operators about the marginalization, about the transformation, about the culture, about this dissonant, divergent future that they're painting for us, all gray. Yeah, our suppliers are feeling the same thing, guys. They really are. We had a meeting just recently with Dave Roberts up in Minnesota with part of the NFLA finance team, and we sat down with some suppliers. We had a Six Sigma black belt guy. We worked through this whole exercise of what are the opportunities to make supply chain better. And to a person, I would have to say that they echoed some of the sentiments that we've heard from you in the NOA surveys, in the NFLA survey, and frankly at this room and other meetings. So, you know, we're all in this thing together, and we need to make sure that we stick together. So let's talk about supply chain, logistics. Our logistics team is led by Laura Bucar. She's working on the Backroom of the Future project, which is technology, but it's technology that is to be an enabler. It's going to make our managers' jobs easier. It's going to come with a cost, and we're going to have to do a cost-benefit analysis. But ultimately, it could be, I think, a real help in the restaurants. We're working on commissary. We've gotten it to where we think the burrito can be done by a machine. It can be done extremely quickly, extremely efficiently, perfectly every time, and maybe at a delivered cost that wouldn't be too much greater than where we are today. So that is coming. We're going to look for that. Salads are also still in the mix there. It'd be a modified atmospheric packaging, but and kind of a tear-off lid kind of a situation, but it would be something you wouldn't have to prep in the restaurants. The parfait is kind of on the back burner. We just haven't been able to find the secret to that. So we're still working on that one. The sink survey. So every time you get a delivery in your restaurant, please ask your managers to fill out that sync survey, because that is what's providing a feedback-rich environment to our distributor partners. There was a lot of uproar earlier this year when Golden State Foods sold their business to Martin Brower. And Martin Brower came out with, as well as our independents, I mean, there are a lot of headwinds in the distribution business right now, but with the largest increase I've seen in my history, and I'm sure most of you have. So we're working on that, and we're actually going to be doing a review, a budget review here before we get this thing set in concrete this year. We had been promised that last year. It didn't happen. But the sync survey provides the feedback that talks about, are we satisfied? Are they on time? Are they creating problems for us? Are they helpful? Do they have a good attitude? Was everything on the truck? We've got to make sure that we're getting that feedback out there, because their rewards for excellence are tied to their performance. And, you know, they have had some hiccups in the get-along with this acquisition. It's been a tough time for them. So we need to continue to make sure they understand where they're doing well, but also where there are opportunities. So please make sure you fill that out. The Amex program, we've worked out a deal with Amex where you can pay for your Martin Brower invoices basically online through Amex, and which is kind of a nice deal. You don't have to worry about anything getting paid. You get the points. They've got some good opportunities there to convert those and actually come out ahead, because those fees are not considered interest by the IRS. Distributor budget process I talked about. Competitive advantage team with Larry Miller. Op supply purchasing. We've saved $12 million already by consolidating op supply purchasing. There's a ton more out there. We're working on cleaning supplies right now and chemicals. We're not done. It's going to take a while. Some of this, there's some political capital that's going to have to be leveraged to make it happen, but it's going to happen. Tracking BBV 2020 efficiencies. This has been a pet project of mine. You know, when we were asked to endorse the BBV 2020 vision, we were given a pro forma P&L. And a big part of it was there's going to be efficiencies. One of the efficiencies, in fact, the largest efficiency, was $200 million in supply chain efficiencies. Knowing that there probably was $200 million we could go get, we said, okay, let's go get it. And what happened is that quickly as they said, let's get $200 million in efficiencies, they couldn't figure out a way to track it. So they just said, we're not going to measure that. I said, we're going to measure it. So we've devised a way of doing that by tracking our run rate against the PPI. And right now our run rate is improving over PPI. We'll have a full roll-up on that for you here after our NSLC meeting. But it looks like we're moving in the right direction. Hopefully we can get that $200 million. And also potato pricing. You guys are probably going to notice your potatoes dropped 3 cents a pound. That's due to a global sourcing strategy with McDonald's global team. And that's one of the few things Global's done that we actually like, right? Come on. All right, the equipment team headed by Eric Wilson. I'd also like to announce that Eric is running a pose as the new vice chair. Carlos Morales has sold his business and is out of the system. But he's still circling around, so say hi to Carlos if you see him. But Eric is our vice chair-elect. I'd like to congratulate him. And Tyler Gamble, thank you. And Tyler Gamble has run for a leadership team position and has been awarded that seat. So he'll be taking over the equipment team. And so if you have any complaints about equipment, please call Tyler Gamble. And I'll follow up too, believe me. But anyway, we're working on the frozen dessert center test. It's been slow getting it off the ground. The machine is a behemoth. It's probably more than what we need. We're working on establishing the business case. We're not really there yet. This was all designed before we had people on the design, the global and the U.S. system equipment design teams. So it's a little overbuilt. But we're working on figuring out how to make money with it or downsizing it to a 2-barrel. The ESPF hotline. Okay, when you have problems with your equipment, call your supplier. If they're not going to help you, then call the ESPF hotline or go online and fill out a complaint or an issue form. It'll be followed up on. If it's not followed up on, again, Tyler, Eric, myself, we'll make sure it gets followed up on. We've had a ton of success intervening and mediating on owner-operators' behalfs, and we're going to continue to do that. So we have new warranty terms that we've been asking for, 3 to 5 years of warranty, unlike the 2 years, which has been standard. We've already had a couple of suppliers come forward and add another year and go to 3 years. There's a little bit of hesitation about going to 5, and in some cases, they're wanting an additional preventative maintenance agreement to make sure that the equipment is maintained properly to get to 5. So it's not just them with skin in the game. And I understand that, and I think most of you would too. So we're going to figure out what that looks like and talk about it and see if that makes economic sense. The service integrator model, which is being piloted with H&K, it's being piloted in North Carolina right now with David Hunt and some of the other owner-operators in that area, is another great way, maybe, where we can save some money. We can certainly have a lot more phone fix. We can have tracking of failure rates and so forth. So that could be a good thing coming down. The Scale for Good team is working on digital food safety. We have Squaddle, and I don't know if Jolt's here or not, but Squaddle and Jolt are here. And they are kind of the last two. They've come through the fire, if you will, and we'll be ready to launch that sometime toward the end of the fourth quarter, maybe the first quarter. So very, very close there, and they're just negotiating the final contracts. Delivery packaging. The biggest complaint that our customers have, our guests have about delivery, is that they're worried about the security of the food. They don't want somebody grabbing a fry or taking a sip out of their Coke. So we've come up with this delivery packaging now where it's all secured in a bag with those stickers. You got to make sure that the employees are using the packaging the way it was designed. We've been getting a lot of pushback from delivery drivers, but you got to tell them, hey, this is the way it's going to be, and we've asked Uber and DoorDash to make sure that gets communicated. And there's more delivery packaging being worked on now, and also other ways of securing the bags. If you go see Brian with Prince Castle, he'll show you a little goodie he's got on that. Energy footprint, a lot of work being done there to try to meet our 2025 Scale for Good goals. And then Mike Retzer's favorite topic, the foam cup. The Versalite foam cup has been approved. It's out in the system. It's being scaled up. There is a little bit of a cost to doing it, but we've been able to mitigate some of that by taking on additional capacity. So take a look at that if you think it might help your market. All right, key priorities. This is the stuff we do every day, but really what I want to bring to supply chain is something a little bit different than that. What I want to bring is I want to codify the values that make McDonald's great, but I want to bring it to supply chain. It's not been done before. First of all, transparency of all costs, at all costs. This is another area where I've taken a lot of heat from the company. They don't want us looking at the details, but we're going to look at the details, whether it be, that's right. They've inserted themselves between owner-operators and the suppliers. They want to manage it. Well, by God, if you want to manage it, you better be ready to show us the details because we're buying it, or we're not buying it. We have to buy it, so we don't really have much choice, but they don't either. So we want to make sure that that's done right. Third-party managers, deployment costs, data management, all these things add costs to supply chain. It's in every supply chain, in every restaurant company, in every company everywhere. But we got to know that our costs are not more than what is comparable and what should be acceptable. There should be no load ever on our supply chain. That is, our supply chain should never be used as a profit center by McDonald's Corporation. One of our first meetings, right? Since I got in this business, I've been hearing stories about, the brother-in-law deals and little secret handshakes and people getting a little kickback here and a little, something over there. And one guy actually told me that, hey, the entire worldwide supply chain was built on the back of U.S. owner-operators. Many of you are in this room. There's a little bit of truth to that. I hate to say it, but from what I've heard from pretty reliable sources, that may have happened in the past. I don't believe it's happening now, but we need to say it. If we're not going to do it, let's say we're not going to do it. So I go to Chris Kay and I said, Chris, first LAT meeting I was at, you came up with this little deal. You said, what if we just went to Coca-Cola and asked them for a 5-cent decrease in the price of syrup? And we kept 3 and gave you guys 2. Wouldn't that be a good win-win? Like, no, Chris, that's not how we do it. It's everyday low price, Chris. So now I've gone to Chris and I said, I want to put that in our bylaws, that there is never going to be any compensation to McDonald's, any kickbacks, nothing like that. And he said, John, he said, I'm happy to agree to that, but you know what? I can't agree to that for perpetuity because I don't know what the next guy that comes in to run this company wants. You know, I'm a Harvard MBA. He could be a Yale MBA. Just kidding. I love Chris Kay. He's a funny guy. And he's got a good sense of humor. I hope whoever's taping this. Sorry. Okay. $26,000 a year, nearly 1% of your sales, is being paid for food journey costs. Many of you are probably aware, but there's probably a whole lot of people in here that are not aware, that every single core sandwich we have right now is artificial preservative, artificial sweetener, artificial color, artificial flavor free, besides a very small residual amount of artificial preservative in the pickle. We can't seem to get that one out yet. Do you think our customers know that? And what would they think if they did know it? Would the moms that come in your restaurant that are feeding their children, would they feel good about that? Would it make them feel better about the McDonald's brand? I think that would. So and I don't want to use the word throwing away because it's a little harsh, but I will use the word, you're donating $26,000 a year and we're not leveraging that message. Larry said it best. He said, look, people want to know, they want to feel good about our brand. They want to know that we care. What better way to show them we care than we're trying to take care of you, your family, your kids, and keep them away from threats and things that are perceived to be threats. I think that's a good word, and we need to talk about it. That is long-term brand, and I had a little conversation with Chris and the team about that, and these guys don't want to invest in anything long-term. If they can't pull the lever and get it right now, they don't want to do it. Thankfully, we have Vicki on the team, and she is talking to Morgan, and Morgan's wanting to do something with it. So we'll see what happens, but we've got to get some bang for that buck. It's a huge expense. It's $26,000 a year every year. So that's a lot of money. So the core question that I really want to talk about today is what are the values that we should have as a company? And I think it comes all the way back to what's the split coming out of the box? It used to be back in the day it was 70-30, owner-operator, 30% company. Then when they started doing the real estate and all that, it kind of moved toward 50-50. It was still probably 55-45 owner-operator. Well, recently I found out that it's not anymore. No, now it's 54-46. And every time you see a new fee or a new technology company getting bought that you're going to end up paying for or whatever, that number is just going to get more and more and more slanted toward the company, in my opinion. But we have more capital invested in our businesses. We have all the risk of all the headwinds: labor, food, commodities, utilities, insurance. We also have all the risk of the new products and the new promotions to try to keep the business coming. And they own the restaurants in perpetuity, but we're spending the money fixing them up. So what if we shared the risk? What if you knew that you could go out there and get crazy and put somebody doing table touches at every table, selling great value products every day, maybe even lower our prices a little bit, put more labor on the floor, have a better experience, but you always knew it was going to come back to you, it's going to be 50-50. Every restaurant would stand on its own and it was going to be 50-50. Would you not take a lot more risk than what you're taking now instead of worrying about how the hell am I going to pay for that? BRE, what? Yes, you would. I know I would. This is the core that we've got to work on with these guys. These people are professionals at driving up stock price. And they're going to do that one way or the other. If sales aren't growing and TCs are declining, they're going to get that money somewhere. We've got to get an agreement now on what that looks like. So we love our suppliers. We love our three-legged stool. And when our business interests are aligned like they are with our suppliers, that equals trust. I love coming to meetings like this where you see suppliers, it's shaking hands, let me see your new product, let's talk about it. But there's a bunch of suppliers that aren't here. They were asked not to come, some of them. And some of them just read the tea leaves and said, I'm already in the doghouse, I think I better steer clear. Why would McDonald's not want suppliers here? Why would they threaten, harass, threaten retaliation, maybe even retaliate? I think that violates our standards as a company. I think it violates the standards that they would expect from me dealing with my own employees. And not that suppliers are employees, they're certainly not. So it's even worse when you treat somebody who should be a partner like that, right? But then, why act in such an unprofessional, unseemly, unacceptable way? This can never be tolerated, and it shouldn't be. I'm asking everybody to please sign the document. Please. Let them know. This is not going to be tolerated. It is unbecoming of who we are. And we will not allow system conduct to devolve in this way. Never. I wouldn't allow it in my family, and I'm not going to allow it in this family. All right. So a strand of 3 cords is not easily broken. You've got the NFLA, OPNAD, the NSLC, and now we've added a 4th cord, the NOA. Unity is the key. It's the absolute key to us being able to continue to maintain our culture, to get closer to our customer, to invest wisely in our business, and to continue the legacy that we all have. I look out here, I've walked the room, I see first generation, second generation, third generation leaders. People who have led, people who are actively leading now, and people who will lead in the future. That unity is something that the company cannot duplicate. They can't duplicate that. They can't duplicate the legacy, the history, the love, the hard work, and the values that each and every family in here has put into their business. Not going to be duplicated. So, we've got to make sure that we get the word out there that none of us is as good as all of us. We've got to make sure that we keep talking to people, we persuade them that we all need to stick together. It doesn't matter what your background is, how long you've been in the system. We've got to stick together. We've got to have each other's backs. We've got to make sure that nothing divides us. Nothing. Thanks to the NOA, thanks to our great suppliers, and thanks to each and every one of you, our McFamily, for attending this meeting. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
I want to get some interactions where it's like the 2-shot, when they're talking.
I'm on channel 1.
Yeah, I think mainly we're going to want them there. We have operators on all the cameras. All right, let's do it.
Doing pretty good. I'm going to get 2 ice creams.
2 ice cream cones? Yes, please. Alrighty. I'm going to get the Southwestern salad.
Okay. She's too big for a kid's meal now, so she's grown. All right, so we have 13.
Hi there. Thanks for dining in with McDonald's. Wanted to know if you wanted to pay with a human connection.
What is that?
We believe in the power of connection. And what we want to do for you guys today is give you guys the opportunity to disconnect with your technology and connect with each other. You give up the cell phone for just the duration of the meal, and everything else you get is free.
Really?
Okay.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah? You got a cell phone, don't you?
Yeah.
He's claiming he doesn't, but he really does.
I have to turn it over to you?
You do get the phone back after. And so all you have to do is place your phone in one of these. You can put them together if you want, or you can have your own. And you guys enjoy.
kind of weird to actually sit here with you without you being like, ugh.
So we should talk, since we don't have phones.
We gotta interact. At her peripheral, she's looking at her phone. I already know it. You guys are always on your phone.
Jessica.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I watch mainly basketball.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Are the bloodhounds the one that run like in the track? Is that?
No, that's a greyhound.
That's a greyhound.
Bloodhound.
I made a new friend.
Yeah. Boy or girl? Why are you getting embarrassed? Why are you getting embarrassed? I'm not asking if you're getting married tomorrow or anything.
Your phone, Madison.
Oh.
Hello. How many hours does he really spend on his phone?
1 hour or 2?
1 hour or 2? Are you kidding me?
Did you guys ever at any chance like think, oh, where's my phone? Like maybe reach for it, grab it?
I didn't. Did you?
I might have. Everything is quick, go, go, go. This gives us a little bit of time to sit down and actually talk.
Slow it down.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that we're having that connection amongst my family.
This was really cool to kind of just connect at McDonald's without a phone, because we don't do that a lot.
Gives you a little bit of time to kind of get to know each other, find out what's going on with each other. Family time is being incorporated again, and it's needed.
It's not easy to talk to people, but there's still good people in the world, and you know, it's never too late to put down your phone and meet somebody new.
Please welcome to the stage Christian Sandoval, NFLA Technology.
Good morning. Is this thing on? Good morning, McFamily. Good morning, NOA. Leave it to Blake Casper to put on an anti-technology commercial before a technology presentation. So first of all, my name is Christian Sandoval. I'm an owner-operator from San Diego, California. I'm an OTP3 and chair of the Restaurant Technology Board under the NFLA. Thanks. So in today's being operationally sound, to understand technology that enables your restaurant to execute everyday experiences for our customers and our employees, it has to be engaging. It's about having technology that is relevant and adds value to frictionless interfaces that give positive personalized experience with strategic partners such as Disney that only McDonald's can provide. And today I want to tell you, how do we achieve that? Because that is the brand experience that we were trying to bring that only a system of us, of 14,000 restaurants, are able to provide. So to do that, I want to introduce you to the Restaurant Technology Board. And that's who we are. We're the Restaurant Technology Board leadership team. And we're going to go through a little bit and tell you about what about us, how we operate, and give you an update of how we're evolving. We're not going to go through a lot of the products of what we're working on. You're going to see that a lot in your field summits presented to you by our members. And we have a very big team, and we're going to introduce you to a couple of members today. So the Restaurant Technology Board is an NFLA team that focuses on all restaurant technologies. We cross-function with many other teams across the system, including OpNad, marketing, and other ventures into companies, even NSLC and supply chain. Everyone seems to want technology these days. It's more important than ever that the company folks, our owner-operator leaders, all combine what technology needs by looking at what the initiatives and what they cost. I can't emphasize that more. Every time we look at technologies and as presented technologies from new vendors or whatnot, they look great, but we have to talk about what they cost. We have to be responsible leaders in our system and make sure that our investments that we're putting into have a value that's added, have a prioritization. We are swamping the restaurants with technology. And let me tell you, the team behind me is sitting there and putting the throttle on a lot of these initiatives and making sense. And we have a whole sub-team that watches over that, and we'll get a little bit more into that depth when we go into the sub-team breakouts. Our RTB operators work hard on your behalf. The RTB meets between 2 and 3 times a year as a full face-to-face board meeting. Each sub-team has bi-weekly calls and we have a monthly full RTB webcast. We have over 33 members on this team that are representing you in technology. We ask a lot. That's a lot of time. Not to mention the coming to an NOA meetings, the NFLA meetings, presenting at your field summits. We ask a lot of these owner-operators, and I'm very thankful to have a team of dedicated owner-operators that are working on our behalfs. Our face-to-face meetings, and I want to get down and let you know, this is how we operate. You should know how we operate. We're handling a lot of your investments, and we want to be responsible leaders. So next week, actually, is our second face-to-face meeting with our full board in Chicago at MHQ. And we've evolved how we work, and I'm going to go in a little bit into how that works today. So our face-to-face meetings are not presentation-based. They are working meetings. We meet with McDonald's Global and US Technology and key stakeholders from strategic partners such as DY and Apprente. Then we have our sub-team breakouts. So we set the agenda. The people behind me, we agree what that agenda is. We do not let McDonald's tell us what a technology agenda and what a presentation is. And that is fundamentally important for us and for the sake of our wallets. We then break into breakouts. The leaders behind me take their entire sub-team, company folks, and vendors if they have need be. That's a 3-legged stool. Each of them and their company account folks go into a room, we lock them in a room and then we ask them to come up with solutions that are almost based in 24 hours we want to turn around. The next day, on the 3rd day of our meeting, they have to come present to the full entire RTB, and we poke holes and we ask the tough questions to ensure that the things that we're going cut through the list, and if they are, then we ask them, go back home, let's start developing the work. And then before we get updates on that work by the next face-to-face meeting and our monthly webcasts. So we pride ourselves on being highly functional, highly organized, because you have to be. And as responsible leaders, we should be. And I'm very grateful that I have a great team with me helping us bring that to life. So in essence, our RT meetings are almost like mini hackathons. And it's a lot of work that goes into them. They have to do a lot of preparation to get these things ready. But I mean, if you're ever privy to any of those conversations, I can tell you, these owner-operators are advocating on your behalf. So now I want to pass it on to my team here. We're going to give you a breakdown of who they are, what they do on your behalf, and then we'll circle back. So now pass it on to Nick Epifano.
Thanks, Christian. My name's Nick Epifano. I'm an owner-operator in Ohio. My team is the employee experience team. And, before I go any further, sorry, it was great, Blake, having Larry Light. I think it's amazing how the way this current system was set up with the new leadership, how we were separated, how we didn't communicate with each other, and how some of this stuff happened. And I think if we would have always maintained that closeness together that was taken away from us in the past couple of years, a lot of these things wouldn't happen. So I appreciate hearing Larry and all the stuff that he talked about. That was great. So my team's the employee experience team. That involves cash, inventory, timekeeping, and all the back office apps. I can tell you I've been on the team, back to the team, for the last year and a half. In the last year and a half, we spent a lot of time trying to go through and revamp the current CIT product so that we could get it in a state that would get us where we need to go for the near future and help us retire the ISP and get us to a place where we can start looking at the next infrastructure and back office 2.0. So as of this morning, we're at 13,480 restaurants that have retired the ISP in the U.S. system. So that's a huge leap compared to where we were a year ago. We actually had to extend this goal a year because the current product was not ready. So as I said, the future goals are working on back office 2.0. I think anyone that's dealt with our current scheduling program and some of the back office apps that we currently have, there's a lot of need there to make these more robust and give us the enhancements that we need for the current business climate. I can tell you that we have a very good cross-functional team made up of several owner-operators. It's a pretty large team that involves all the areas of leadership, as well as operators that have certain expertise in areas like scheduling and some of those areas. Our goal is to make sure that we leverage the operator community and make sure that the functionality is where you want it to be, not what the company wants it to be, but what you want it to be because you're the customer. So, we liken it to if we're bringing out future enhancements or future software, we need to think like a Microsoft or someone like that where we'd have to sell this product to you. Not force you to use it, but make it in a way that works for you and makes it relevant for your business. We're also looking at involving in this cross-functional team not only operators, leadership, GMs, but also accounting teams and other providers so that we can make sure that we tie completely in all the areas of the back office, not just in the restaurant itself, but also the accounting area and those things that we've been asked to do. So our goal is to have relevant products to manage our business and make our employees and the managers' jobs easier. And all the new functionality that we have coming up is designed that way, as well as all the back office enhancements that we're going to make in the future. So I'm turning it over to who? Team members? All the team members. There we go.
My name is Maria Lim. I am your customer-facing technology lead on the RTB. And customer-facing, we take care of the POS, RFM, and the, so on the digital side, we have the technologies with the GMA, kiosk, and digital menu boards. Now, with the explosion of digital, we actually had to add on a new sub-team, which is under digital with Cosmo here. And so in my sub-team, what we do on the POS side, we're working on things like re-architecturing the POS so you don't have to download the whole POS system if there's a change only for the KVS or for the kiosk or for GMA. So we're doing that. That's SP10, which is coming out in the end of the year on pilot. And RFM usability as well, that's coming out sometime this year. And my sub-team, actually, I have several people around the nation. So first we have from the Atlanta region, we have Jim Abedi, and he has stores in Atlanta. We have John Frost stores in Tampa. And then up in Bethesda, I have John Mayer Jr. with stores in the Chesapeake, Virginia area. Miomir Ivanovich, he has stores in Philadelphia. In the Stamford office, Donnie Wright, who has stores in Boston. In Columbus, we have Matt Alamo actually has just changed over to, we're welcoming Sean Bauer, who has stores in Louisville, Kentucky. Out in Denver, we have Todd Luther, who has North Denver and the Wyoming area. Walnut Creek, I have Mark Ray, who has restaurants in Spokane, Washington. And then, and so that is my sub-team. And the reason why we're trying to let you know who's part of our sub-team is so that you know who to approach. If you have questions, problems, or anything, remember, your RTLs, your restaurant technology leads, they are the ones you should run to and talk to about technology. If we don't know what's broken, we can't fix it. So we really ask you to talk to your restaurant technology leads and be able to let us know what we need to push our corporate counterparts and our suppliers and what's not working at the restaurant. So I will pass it on to Cosmo because again, Cosmo and I work together hand in hand, especially because of the digital assets. And so my team is a customer-facing technology team, And then Cosmo, and then I am also part of the digital task force under OPNAD. And then we now have the new consumer-facing digital. So that's all that. And Cosmo, I will pass that on to Cosmo to explain that.
Wait, she just finished. Do I actually have to do this? So anyway, I lead DTF, which is Digital Task Force. None of you chuckled, which is kind of funny. My team is a cross-functional team between NFLA and OPNAD. My job is to make sure that OPNAD gets all the technology support that it needs. I have 3 sub-teams that are created. GMA, which is led by Mark Ray Jr. God, I gotta actually look this up. Wally, which runs marketing systems, so that's the CRM, which is customer relationship managers, the databases with all of our customers. And then Jeff Martinez, which runs digital merchandising. Maria brought up, how many of you guys know what CFD is? Raise your hands. No? Nobody? Okay. So CFD is a strategy team within OPNAD that helps set the 3-year strategy for marketing using digital. That is a very different function than mine. My function is to make sure that I put in place technologies and make sure that the company also uses technologies that will actually not interfere with our business and help drive our marketing initiatives. So that is a little bit of the nuance difference, because I know it's been a little bit out there that they kind of cross over, but they don't. The other thing that I'm going to commit as the team lead for this is I'm going to know the costs and make sure that I'm not just doing tech for tech's sake, right? The costs are very important. They could get really out of control very quickly, especially in this space. So I'm going to make sure I know the price tag before we allow to move forward. And then also I'm going to try to not do tech for tech's sake, even though that's like a personal hobby of mine. Yeah, those are 2 commitments that I can make. And I hate talking, so I'm going to hand it off to Megan.
Hi, I'm Megan Sweeney. I'm from Pittsburgh, and I lead the deployment and support sub-team. So what that really means is anything that these guys get as a team and create as a team, then I have to get it out to every restaurant and then make sure it lives for the life that it has, which in McDonald's is forever. So that's what my sub-team does. I say I have the best sub-team only because we have to deal with everything forever. So my team's consisted of Aaron Smith, who's out of Iowa, Adam Reeves out of Mississippi, Diane Samita out of Hawaii. Donnie Wright is a cross-functional player. He's out of the Boston area. Mike Rodewald out of Michigan, Ricky Wade out of Florida, and Whitney Welsh out of Virginia. I also have Graham Grant, if you guys are familiar with the name Fred Tillman and his 69 restaurants. Graham Grant was his OTP extraordinaire, who has now joined the OTP training, and that still sits on my sub-team to be able to talk about what's happening in the restaurants and making sure we bring it to life to OTP 3 training and the OT3 program. Speaking of the OTP program, we have had a very, very successful relaunch. I appreciate everybody's patience. It took much longer than we expected, but we have all of our OTP3 classes filled till the end of this year. We are working diligently on our first quarter schedule and the pricing model for that. We realize that $1,500 is a tough nut to crack, so we're working on that. And in November, we will have the OTP3 conference, which was sold out in less than 4 days. So we are now looking for a space for next year to be able to fit 750 to 1,000 OTP3s in a conference, which is unprecedented numbers, and I just want to thank everybody for the support. Thanks.
And my name is Jonathan McGuire. I'm an owner-operator out of Nashville, Tennessee. I'm the newest team lead for the RTB. We have started just at our last face-to-face meeting earlier this year. We decided to create a sub-team called the Governance of Technology team. Team members that we pulled from the other sub-teams, since we're a cross-functional team, I was able to pull Shannon Davis from Maria's team as liaison to the customer experience team, and Nathan Papas over from Nick's team for the back office. What our team is responsible for, what we're trying to stand up, is putting some governance around controlling or at least advocating on behalf of the owners what the company is doing or what projects are doing with our data and with our dollars. This all started with the tech fees. We were upset about the tech fees. We didn't know what they were spending the money on. We didn't know what we were paying for. We just got this lump sum. Every year we had an event where Christian had to stand up in front of various groups and take shots about what the tech fee is increased for, what are we getting for our money, and things of that nature. So what we did was we created this team, and we've gotten some tremendous cooperation so far from the company to dive into those tech fees, and our first win was being able to put the tech fee detail into the charge in our receivables. So that was a win. Now our next win is going to be figuring out what those line items mean. Because if you've looked at that, yeah, now we got the detail, but we don't really understand which of those lines are. We are currently still standing up this team, so we are cross-functional. We're going to go between every project that comes in through the tech board. We're going to be involved in, and we're going to ask questions such as, how much does it cost? How much is it going to cost next year? How much is the support and maintenance going to be? Will it play well in our ecosystem? Will it duplicate any other processes that other projects are already doing? Things of that nature. We're not a decision-making body. We have no intention of telling anybody in the company, no, you can't do that project. What we want to do is make sure that we have visibility to everything that's coming down the road and bubble things up, concerns of ours, bubble those up through the NFLA so that those decision makers can have some influence over those people who are bringing the projects in that have effect on our data or dollars.
Great. So I hope you all learned a little bit about the Restaurant Technology Board and how we work on your behalf. I want to thank the entire NFLA and NFLA executive body for all the support that you've given us over the past years. It's really been tremendous help. Now that you know a little bit more about the team, I want to ask and thank the full Restaurant Technology Board. And if you're in the audience, please stand up and be recognized by your peers. Because if you can see, we have a very diverse team. So if you're on the RTB, please stand and we just wanted to give you a little thank you. Lastly, I can't say more about the owner-operators sitting right behind me. They are some of the most dedicated leaders that our brand has. They are the heartbeat of our team. They are some of the smartest and dedicated operators, like I said, and that I've ever met and known. Their integrity transcends the work that they believe in McDonald's and how they hold them and us accountable. In closing, I wanted to give a public thank you to the RTB LT from everyone here as your fellow owner-operators. Thank you guys, thank you very much.
I want to echo that, Christian. Technology, has not had the, best reputation in our system. It takes courage to get in and dive in and represent and fix, which is what you all are doing. So we thank you. We thank you for the work that you're doing. It is important work. We're not anti-technology. Christian knows this. We like to have fun, but we absolutely need the work that you're doing and rely on it and value it. So thank you. Thank you, Christian. Appreciate it.